All right, Cathy's, you're in for a treat. We are kicking off today's episode with two friends of ours, Ray Hughes, who we've known forever, and his client, Tue, who just opened the hottest new restaurant in Los Angeles with our best friends at the H-Word Group. It's called Dee WeHo. She's on here. You will not believe her story.
Story's amazing.
I mean, she literally did not have a home. She's less a home. And now she has one of the hottest restaurants in West Hollywood. Very interesting story, very inspiring. And then we got news, Tesla earnings, Netflix earnings. We're talking commercial real estate, Carvana hustle, and winners, losers content. And the member tent merch has shipped out.
We're both wearing ours.
We're wearing ours. And if you want the hat, Eric has made some more. So they're up for sale at shopnewrepublic.com. And of course, all Chatty Cathy Club members get their discount. The discount code is in the Discord. So go check it out and rock your hat this weekend.
Definitely.
All right, let's get into the episode.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, group chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
All right, Cathy's, we have a very, very special two guests in the audience today. We are fortunate. So a really good friend of ours, Ray. So backstory, I met Ray Hughes in college. And I vividly remember meeting Ray because of one characteristic.
What's that?
He had, this is in what, 1999?
2000.
2000?
It's a two-way pager?
He had that, but more importantly, he had a headpiece set.
Like headset.
In 2000. Like,
for your cell phone.
Yeah, no one had like that.
Was that already like on its way out? Or?
No, it had never been. I'd never seen one.
Oh, he was a trendsetter.
Yes, it was like a unicorn, and I was like, "Who is this guy talking to?" We're at dinner, and he has it on. Who is he talking to?
Well, you just explained why people flex.
Yeah, it
People
works.
pay attention.
Yes, it works. But you know what's funny is fast forward. There's people still walking around town with AirPods on all day talking to no one. That's just stupid.
Yeah.
Well, it became a fashion accessory like Beats by Dre did, right?
Yes. But Ray at that time, I was 20 years old, and I was like, whoa, this guy must be a big shot. He's walking around with a headset. I'd never seen this before.
That's amazing.
And at that time, I think I met you through Herman. Did I meet you through
No,
Herman?
I think 3H.
3H.
Oh, whoa, I haven't heard that name.
Huh?
Yeah, there was through 3H, who's in the music business.
Yeah, and he was at SC as well.
He was at USC, and I think we met at. I remember meeting at CPK Westwood.
Oh, I don't even remember that. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
We don't need to get into it, but I encourage everyone to Google 3H and see which artist he was.
Yeah, that's a fun story for another day.
That's a whole podcast.
That's a whole podcast.
So Ray's been in entertainment since managing talent and a very good friend of ours for a very long time. And I remember how I forgot when you first told me about Tue, maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was probably like 2-3 years ago. It was right before the pandemic.
Right before the pandemic. I came to something. Didn't we go?
Oh, no, you came to her first pop-up.
Yes.
Oh, at Petite.
Yeah.
Was it?
No.
Was it at Petite?
No, in downtown. We all went out one night in downtown at some shitty bar.
I wasn't there.
What?
Yes.
I have bad memory.
Yeah, I remember.
Wow.
Downtown LA.
No, wait. Was that the launch for the
for Skate Moss
for the Skate Moss stuff
yes.
at that next to
that's
the pizza
where
shop?
I met you?
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
my God.
Okay.
I remember how I meet everybody.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And you were telling me about it, so kind of been following since.
Mm-hmm.
And then it felt like during the pandemic something happened. It went crazy.
Yeah.
And now we're here, and I'm going to leave a big gap there because I'm going to just quickly fast forward to a couple days ago where we got to go check out this new restaurant in West Hollywood, Dee, and it was incredible.
Partnered with the H-Word Group.
Our very, very close friends. And what was cool was, like, I walked away from it was, if you think about, like, outside of like, specifically in that neighborhood, there aren't a lot of fun restaurants that are not like American food.
Yeah.
Like there's Delilah's and the Nice Guys and the Catches, which are like the fun going out type restaurants. And then most of the other cuisines are generally very either white tablecloth fine dining or super casual.
Yep.
And it's West Hollywood. Like no one wants kind of either of those. Like no one wants to go to a casual eatery and just hang out.
Yeah.
And then white tablecloth is so fucking boring.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're looking for a fun. And I literally said, "Oh my God, this feels like Nice Guy." Like
awesome.
With like the energy, the music, and the food, and it was just like it was like fun, friendly. You knew people there, and it's just like
on that point. So we went a few nights ago for one of the opening nights, and we've been in LA going out for over 20 years. The right people were there.
Yeah.
It was like, it felt like, oh, this is big.
Yeah, it felt like it was big and exciting, and the energy was awesome.
Yeah.
And I purposely did not post it because I don't want to be responsible for getting other people reservations.
I'm learning this.
Yes. I already know what's going to happen.
Brian and John's texts.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Just
I know how
for
often
the
I
last
text
20 years.
Yeah. Because I even got a call from our good friend Ali Fakari, and he's like, "I think I want to do my birthday at Dee. I was like, "You should." And I didn't post it.
You should. That's it.
It's happening. Like the network effect of LA, Hollywood. So I just wanted to start with that. But more importantly, how did you end up here, Tue? This is insane to have your own restaurant in like
so crazy.
a matter of a couple years. Because to give backstory, Brian and John were shitty club promoters for a decade before they got even an opportunity to open a spot. And they grinded it out.
Yeah, I mean, you know the story, right? Do you remember if you go back to the USC times?
Yeah.
When I first moved from Detroit and I was the promoter, I had, done the teen clubs and whatnot in Michigan. So fresh 20 years old.
Yeah.
We started throwing parties in LA.
Yeah.
It was Brian, myself. I think we included you, but you kind of did it. But it was Andres and Ben Hooper might have been in the mix.
Yeah.
And one of the venues we were promoting was Guys.
I remember that.
Which now H Wood owns, this Peppermint Club.
Yeah.
So I still take credit for H Wood. I taught Brian how to throw parties, so he knows me forever.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing about Brian, he's not very hospitable. So
I still haven't gotten a discount. What the fuck is that?
Although he does pay for most of my meals, so I can't say anything.
And tipped.
Yeah, and those are my tips too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'll get to your level one day.
Yeah.
Aspirations.
Yeah. Mike, I think I can successfully exist in West Hollywood without a wallet.
Wow.
Anything.
What a flex.
Yeah.
That is. That's really big.
It's a common theme on the pod. He likes to brag about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could pretty much I could even probably walk out of the dry cleaner.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tway, is he going to have to pay at Dee?
Well, no, Brian's going to pay.
Yeah.
I just put on Brian's tab.
That's amazing.
So how did you get to starting a restaurant so quickly? Because it's pretty like insane the speed at which all this is happening.
It kind of looks like it happened overnight, right?
Yes.
But like obviously nothing happens overnight.
Yeah.
And I mean, when the pandemic started, that was when I really honed in on making recipe videos. And that was when people actually first saw that like I actually knew how to cook and like was like, oh, like she can cook. And so when the pandemic started to kind of like wean off and everybody started kind of like tippy-toeing outside again, I wanted to bring what I did online to in person so people can actually come and eat my food, because up until that point I was just an internet chef.
Yeah.
Like what do I know? Like it might look good on camera, but like does it taste good?
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to bring it in person. So then I had my first pop-up, which was at Petite Taqueria 2 years ago actually.
Yeah.
It was like July 29th, 2021.
I remember that.
And after when I first walked into that, I didn't know what to expect. I was expecting like to sell 50 tickets, but we sold over like 300 tickets.
Wow.
Over the span of 2 nights. And so I was like, okay, there's something there,
Yeah.
And then after that, I wanted to kind of like just test the market and see what was like my style of service and what I liked. So then I started doing pop-ups all over the place, and ranging from sit down dinners to just like really casual like sandwich box pickups. And I even went to New York to do a pop-up, which was also a success.
Yeah.
And so like it was just like pop-ups after pop-ups after pop-ups, and I'm realizing that people will really just pay because they relate. They relate to what I share. They relate to what I do. They really love like just the story behind everything, right?
So what is your story? Where are you from originally?
I'm born in Vietnam.
Okay.
I grew up over there until I was 8. So my first language was Vietnamese.
Where in Vietnam?
In Vũng Tàu.
Okay.
It's 2 hours south of Saigon, so in the south.
Okay.
And I mean, Vietnamese food and Vietnamese culture was like all I knew.
Yeah.
Until I came over here when I was 8, and I moved to Oxnard. Do you guys know where that's at?
Of course.
Yeah. So I moved to Oxnard, stayed there until I turned 18. When I turned 18, I moved to LA to go to culinary school.
Okay. So you went to school for this?
I did. Yeah,
Wow.
I went to school for it because
It wasn't an easy journey though.
I thought I was gonna be in the medical field because that was what my parents wanted.
Asian,
it was just like an
figured,
easy route, you know. I'm not saying like it's easy, that it's an easy thing to do, but it was just like something that you did to secure your future, right?
Yeah.
But I like deep down inside I knew that I wouldn't finish. I knew that I didn't want to be in that profession, and it's not exciting to me. I'm actually pretty scared of blood. Like when I see blood, my knees get weak. Yeah. So that wouldn't have been
a good reason to stay away.
Yeah, like that wouldn't have been a good thing. Like
not a good nurse.
No, at all. So food was the only thing that like just even gave me a little ounce of like excitement, of like curiosity, of something that was like, there's something here between me and food. Yeah. Because growing up, I watched a lot of television to learn English. And I watched a lot of cooking shows and just food shows. And one of my favorite shows that I used to watch was Anthony Bourdain when he was in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And so like I just really love his connection to food, and I related to that. And so up until that point, I didn't know how to cook because my mom was like one of those cooks where she hates people being in her kitchen.
Yeah.
So I never learned how to cook. I didn't even know how to like properly fry an egg.
Wow.
So I was like, let's like put yourself through culinary school, see what's in it for, like see what's there for you. If you're actually good at it, if you can do this. So then I went to culinary school. During culinary school, it was more of just like learning techniques. I staged at Spago for a little bit. And
tell them what staging is. It's amazing.
What is that?
Oh, listen.
It's basically like a free internship where you're basically like doing all the work without getting like any payment
at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Walk them
one
through
of the most successful restaurants.
Yeah. So I would go in at like 3 p.m. and then like you just start doing prep work. So that could be either like cutting onions, setting up the stations, shucking peas, like just little tasks like that, but it wasn't anywhere near like head chef level, you know. But that's just how kitchen culture is. Like you just work your way to the top, and that's what I thought I had to do. But during that time I was so unhappy because I mean I was literally living out of my car because I couldn't afford to live in LA because I was literally not getting paid. So I was living in my car and like doing something that like just didn't excite me. But even though I love food, I was just like, what else could I do in this? I didn't know if there was any other path I could take because this was like the thing that like this was the ladder that was like presented to me, you know? So I quit. I hated it, so I quit. And I was just like second guessing myself, just kind of asking myself, like, why did I do this in the first place? Like, why did I put myself through this? Why did I go to school for this? This was so expensive. I'm still paying it off. Well, I paid it off already, but at the time I was still paying it off. And I'm not getting any money from this. I'm not getting any type of excitement from this. I hated it. So I quit.
How'd you quit?
I literally just like walked out. I like left all my knives and all my kit. Like I had nothing else to like. What was I gonna use with those knives now? Yeah, you know, like
I got jobs.
Don't care. I couldn't care any less at that point. And so it was just like, fuck it. Like I hated being there, so I just left. And then I had all the time in the world. So all that I watched a lot of YouTube. So then I started just making YouTube videos.
What year was this?
I don't know what year, but I'm 25 right now. So that was like around 2021.
Okay.
It's a few years ago.
That's like the start of content creation.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah. And at that time I always focused on food content though, because that was something that I felt like I could, I guess, like have a say in and like be knowledgeable in, because like I know food. I can talk about food all day long. It's exciting to me. So then I was like, let's just stick with food content. And so at the time, what I was doing was just eating in front of the camera. It was called a mukbang. I don't know if you guys know what that is.
Yeah.
You're literally just sitting there eating in front of the camera. And at that time, I was like literally filming in my car because I was living in my car. I have videos to show that, but it just
crazy.
looks like
no one knew.
Yeah, but it just
crazy.
looks like you're just like filming in your car.
Yeah.
And what kind of stuff are you eating?
Like Korean food, Vietnamese food, like just any type of
and
food.
are you commenting on it or just they're just watching you eat?
I'm commenting on it, and I'm also like storytelling. I'm like just telling them about my day at the and like I never spoke about like how I'm living in my car or anything like that, but just speaking about like just
really
random stuff. Yeah. But yeah, like
and it was a small car.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
not living in like a big
Suburban.
SUV and
It
stuff.
was
Like
a-
actually sleeping in your car.
yeah, it was like a Honda CRZ. So I went to the Arts Institute in North Hollywood. So the NoHo Arts District area. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that
Trendy.
area.
Yeah.
But across the street from it, there's a 24-hour fitness.
Yeah,
And I would shower there. I would go to the gym there. And then behind the 24-hour fitness, there's like a Panda Express there that I would order like a plate from and then portion out like my breakfast, my lunch, and my dinner from one plate. And then I would park at the Ralph's down the street to sleep and like to do whatever.
Let me ask you a question. That sounds like a hard life.
Hard.
But at the time, you know what's crazy? At the time, it wasn't that bad.
You thought it was cool.
No, I did not think it was cool at
And
all.
what are your friends saying? Like, hey,
Nobody knew I was living in my car. I would
not
just
one friend.
no,
How come you just didn't say, fuck it, let me get a job at Bank of America? being
because
a
I
teller?
didn't want to.
Yeah. That's unbelievable, because at some point I'd be like, man,
This is hard.
And how long did the car situation?
Like a few months, like damn near like 6 to 8 months.
That's a long time.
Yeah. Until like
I would have just committed a crime and gone to jail.
No, I started doing like, you know what I started doing?
Petty theft?
No, I started doing background work. Like I literally just started doing background work, would show up to like just random commercials and like just be in the background, because they would pay like what, $100 a day to just to be in the background. And when you're waiting, I could be doing something else, like editing a video or whatever, you know? So then I would start doing that. And then I started to get a little bit of money and saved up and got myself like a room in North Hollywood. And that was like, yeah.
And then when did the videos start working?
The videos like were kind of, it didn't start working until the pandemic, really.
Really?
Like I was like, people were watching me, and like I actually got into a Super Bowl commercial because of my mukbangs, and that was like really, really cool. But the numbers didn't really do the numbers until the pandemic, and I first started to make cooking content.
And that was would you say that happened on TikTok or on YouTube?
On TikTok.
Yeah. So TikTok was the catalyst.
So
definitely.
You had so the pandemic's 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So you already had a housing by then.
Yeah. Oh. I was actually living at home, back home, because I was like done with school, had nothing else to do in LA. So I'm like, why am I going to stay out here?
Yeah. And
so I was just living at home with my parents back in Oxnard.
So you had the option to live at home, but you chose to live in your car.
Yeah, because at the time they didn't support me. They were like, I'd completely glossed over this, but when I told them, I was like, hey, so when I made the decision to go to culinary school, I signed all the paperwork, made sure that I got in and everything, got accepted. And I told them, sat them down and was like, hey, so about nursing school, I'm not going to go to nursing school, but I am going to school in this culinary school. And they're like, what? You want to fucking cook for people for the rest of your life? You want to serve people? And I'm like, damn, like being a nurse, you take care of people too, you know?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It's damn near the same thing. Yeah. So they were like really unhappy that I chose that route. And but towards the end, they were just like, you know what? If that's really what you want to do, then you go and support yourself and do that.
Wow.
So they didn't give me any type of support in terms of like monetary or like even housing. Because if I would have gone back, they would have like, see, I told you so.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Have they eaten at the restaurant?
Oh, they have.
You should be like, oh, you know, we don't give out free meals here.
Wow, you should have hit him with that. That would have been amazing.
This is not a charity business.
Wow.
I have to make money somehow, right?
So then at what point when the TikTok videos started hitting, you're like, oh shit, I can make money doing this? Because I think that's like, I meet a lot of young people and they're like, yeah, man, you know, I'm doing this TikTok thing. And I'm like, okay, cool, keep doing it. But you're not making a living.
Yeah.
Like you might be you know, we all know, Ray, this is your business. Like there's so many people that get millions and millions in views, but doesn't mean you literally could pay.
They have no influence.
Yeah.
It's not rooted in purpose, intent. Like it's really just for the clout, the likes, the views, etc. So, I mean, you know, like, I guess, like, you know, in the very beginning, should I talk about how we met?
Yeah.
So a friend of mine was dating her. And so I had started seeing her pop up in his videos, started watching her mukbangs and stuff. And I was like, wow. And I hit him up and I was like, hey, what's Tue doing? He's like, you know, it's funny. I was about to hit you up. We should meet. And, you know, my yearly Thailand trip, I'm like, all right, let's meet when I get back. And we met January.
No, we met February
2020.
Yeah.
And we decided,
signed like 2 days after.
Yeah, like 2 days after, came up with like really good strategy of how to like take this on, et cetera. And then 3 weeks later was the pandemic. And I was like, well, everything we are planning is
out
not going to happen.
Yeah.
And just kind of really tried to encourage her to like just have the belief in herself to show like the recipes and what she had learned. Because like, as you know, like you're always looking for acceptance in the industry that you're working in, especially if you're coming in brand new. Yeah. And like, look, food industry is predominantly old white men, you know? And so for a young Asian woman to be in that space, you're immediately already up, you know, uphill battle. So I think like, you know, what I had identified was like, you know, I know it sounds so cliche.
Are you calling
like
Brian
Hollywood.
and John old white men?
Wait, what's that?
Yes.
Wait, what did he say? What did he say?
So are you calling Brian and John old white men?
Yeah, kind of. Now they are, right? I guess we all are old
they
white men.
Used to be young white men.
Yeah. But like, yeah, you just saw like, I saw something in her and you know, the advice that I give my clients on a regular basis, I would say like 10% of it resonates.
Yeah.
So 90% of it's like just like in one ear out the other. And with her, it was like opposite. She was like really resonating on almost like everything. And she had this very like young, naive, positive, naive confidence where she was willing to take an L publicly by trying things. Mm-hmm. And didn't care what the results were. And I was like, none of my clients would do that. Yeah. Everybody cares about their image and, you know, a lot of egos and whatever the case may be. And so for her, she was like, I was like, hey, what about this and this? And she's like, bet, I'll try it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but what happens, you know, like, let's talk. If it's not a success, are you okay with that? She's like, yeah, I don't give a shit. I'll do it again, but better. Yeah. And I was like, whoa, that's unheard of. Like, you know, I got actors and hosts and other digital talent, and they all have like their path. Go ahead.
I feel like it's rooted in her background. If you're willing to live in a car, you're willing to try anything.
Word. Yeah, like for sure.
What I had nothing to lose. Like literally nothing to lose, but everything to gain. Yeah. Knowledge, whatever, experience, you know? So like I was willing to try anything.
That's pretty amazing. And I think I think the transition from like, because, you know, your stories, you know, call it 7 years from where you started to where you're at today on specifically on the culinary side. But like when you think about like 3 years ago, pandemic, you started creating content on TikTok and to where you're at today is just like phenomenal. And it's a credit to like the internet and TikTok. Like as much as I shit on it here, it's like such a powerful, incredible medium that like has changed so many lives.
Yeah. For sure.
And it's still doing it, right? In real time. It's still, people are being discovered and businesses
because
are being
it puts the power into my hand.
Yeah.
I don't have to go to the Food Network and beg them for a show. I don't have to go to anybody and beg for anything. I'm literally,
if you're talented, you'll get recognized.
Yes.
You'll find your following.
People will resonate with you. People will resonate with your story.
Yeah.
You don't have to like have like somebody else put you on.
Yeah.
You know, like you can put you on your own with the platform.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I really want to get into the restaurant.
Okay.
This is the part that, you know, I love because one, Petite Taqueria was one of my favorites.
Oh, was it?
Yes, but I was the only one, unfortunately. And so
Why was it your favorite?
I liked their bean and cheese burritos and their nachos. And that's basically what I eat 6-7 days a week.
Okay.
I'm a very simple eater. And so I was sad to see it go. And then it was kind of empty for a while. And I was like, oh, I wonder. And funny enough, I've used that space for our preschool's fundraisers.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
A couple times.
We've done group chat events there.
Yeah, we know that space really, really well. And on Monday night when I walked in, I was like, whoa, this looks way better. And it's
So much.
incredible. It's like a beautiful space. I did not, because I know that space from when it was Bagatelle.
Yeah, I
and
remember.
What is
whatever-
that?
Yeah.
Old brunches back in the day.
It's like a
Whoa.
French, like,
Fun.
day
From
brunch
New
bar.
York.
Yeah.
And then they opened it here.
And so I've seen that space transformed so many times. And at one point it was STK in the back and where Poppy was. And so seeing how the space looks now looks amazing. What was the design influence of that?
The culture.
Yeah.
Truly, like any aspect of Vietnam and how it looks like, how it feels like, the fabric, the plants, and also just the food too. Like they got John Sofio, he got a lot of inspiration from looking at my plates, my dishes.
Yeah.
It was like, wow, it's very colorful. It doesn't look bland. It looks it just looks vibrant.
Yeah, it's fun.
So the space is very vibrant, it's very fun. It's very visually just stimulating. Just every corner you look at, there's something new.
And I also think the thing that I liked about it was that it just felt upscale and appropriate for the neighborhood.
Yep.
Which is what I expect when H Wood does anything anyways. And then that it was a partnership and it looks like that. Amazing. So one of the interesting things, my two observations were, anytime anyone has ever told me about Vietnamese food, it's always been pho. And I liked that it was not about that.
Yeah.
And it was about all these other dishes and a much different experience.
Yeah.
And so to me, like, it's been pigeonholed as that's the cuisine of Vietnamese people. Like, oh, you eat Vietnamese food, let's go eat pho. And I was like, they've got to be eating other shit over there. There's no way everyone's just eating pho.
Yes. And so like that was like the whole point of this. And I'm really happy that you brought that up because one of the reasons why I wanted to make recipe videos and specifically make Vietnamese recipe videos is to show people that like Vietnamese food is so much more than just pho and banh mi's.
Yeah.
You know? And so that's why I wanted the menu to reflect that because that's always been what I've been pushing. Like there's so much other shit that we have over in Vietnam that you guys don't get to experience over here.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to really bring out.
I've been to Hanoi once and there's no one even cares about the pho.
At all.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I liked about, obviously the music, it's like blaring hip hop.
Oh my God, I'm so happy that you said that because
Brian and John
they
are
were
listening.
shitting on it. So
no, I like it because when I go out to eat, to me, it has to be, it's entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
It's the reason why I watched Fast and Furious only. Because I want to be entertained. I'm not trying, I don't need to be like, I'm not going to be like, I'm first
Moved.
of all, like
I want to be entertained, bro.
I want to get drunk, eat good food, laugh, make fun of the people at the restaurant, and just go on with my night.
You know what was
I'm not
interesting?
trying to do more than that. That is where I peak.
So what's interesting on Monday night, and whenever the H-Wood guys open a new spot, the managers, like everyone hovers around Dee because they're so afraid he's going to talk shit in our chat and then it pops up in their Slack channel. Yeah. Because Brian and John just put it in immediately.
And so the main reason being is I'm vegetarian.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it's hard for me to eat at a lot of restaurants. In West Hollywood, it's a million vegan restaurants and all the H-Trip spots have vegan. So I was like, curious, are there going to be vegetarian options? And so going to dinner, I go, Brian, is there anything for me to eat? And he lists like 8 dishes. Here are 8 things you can eat. And
what's funny is we were on the receiving end of the text prior to that.
okay.
There was a gigantic corporate group chat on that.
Yeah.
It was very much, hey, what's vegetarian? Dee and Anand are coming Monday. And then immediately Chef Michael Tyke was like, oh, I got you.
That's why they were hovering around Dee. They didn't want him to start firing.
And what's funny is they both asked me separately, hey, what'd you think of the food?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, good.
And we loved it. It was incredible. And it was flavorful. And like I said, it was just for the neighborhood. It was just like, it felt right.
Cool.
So the one thing I wanted to bring up was I saw there was comments regarding the pricing of the restaurant, of the food. I complain about food prices all day. I do this every episode.
Yeah.
But I will say, if you are in that location, in that neighborhood, if you're priced cheap, you look weird. And the service and experience you're giving people, you just cannot give it at a sharp price.
Exactly that.
How was your service that night, Monday?
Obviously,
Fantastic.
it's incredible, right? Like, in order to get like a luxury experience, you have to pay luxury prices.
Sure.
So
Right?
there's no chance Dee saw the pricing because everything came out comped.
Yeah,
When
well,
we were
that's
there.
every meal, so that's not. I'm not a good gauge of. I don't plan to pay for dinner tonight. Like I'm sure I'll be at H1 venue, but I think the interesting comment, and I think you handled it really well. But like, what were they really complaining about? Like the actual entree prices?
I don't think they were actually complaining about like the actual like entree prices. I think it was more so like they were not used to seeing Vietnamese food be priced out at that price range because they were always used to going to like the hole in the wall spots, the spots where they grew up eating, you know? And so they're just like, well, why would I pay for that if I can just go down to
You can make that
Orange?
excuse for anything in the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why do you pay a T-shirt $500 when you can buy one for $2 at Walmart?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was rooted in Hollywood Reporter did a great article talking about the anticipation of the restaurant coming, et cetera. And at like towards the very end of the article, it said the price point will be an average of $75 per person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it. But then Next Shark, a really big Asian media company, did an article just talking about it. They've been very supportive of Tue on her career journey. And they talked about that piece, like it being $75 per person. And it immediately spiraled out of control of like $75 a dish.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
like you fucking idiots, you got to read.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
If you order, like, basically, you can't leave your house for $100 a person.
I mean,
Yeah.
seriously.
Any
go outside,
restaurant.
the air is $200.
Yeah, exactly. Water, air,
Yeah.
$250.
Gas, another $1.25.
I also think that's
Like-
the opportunity because the one thing it reminded me of, and maybe Ray, you remember, there was a Vietnamese restaurant years ago that was in like the Fountain Plaza, like where that Mendocino Farms was. Do you remember this?
Mm-mm.
Anyways, as a couple, they were making food out of their apartment and just having people show up for delivery. And it's obviously illegal, not following any of the restrictions.
Yeah.
So then they got busted for it, but their demand was so high, they opened a restaurant. I don't even think it's there anymore. I haven't been there in years.
Mhm.
But it reminded me was like, there's a line out the door for that restaurant. And when I found out about your restaurant, I was like, oh, I remember Vietnamese food line out the door. This is going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, definitely is. And just because really, like, specifically in West Hollywood, there's just not a lot of like flavorful, nice, fun restaurants.
Facts.
Right. It is what it is. It's
Sure.
like very much traditional American food. Those are all the fun restaurants.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you're going to go out, you want to go to Delilah, you want to go to Catch, that's where everyone goes out. And like, and it's also, I think will attract a different crowd to the area as well. Like who want to think about it. Like it's the same thing. We always, in New York City, there's Indian restaurants that you get dressed up and they're fun to go out to. That doesn't exist in LA.
Mm-mm.
Like you're not going on a Friday night with your boys to an Indian restaurant
Yeah.
and hope to meet chicks. Like it's just not happening yet, right? That restaurant does not exist yet in LA. Whereas like if you're young and you want to have a good time, you can go there and have it. Like you'll do your birthday dinner there,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
And that's the type of like energy and vibe I think that you need to get.
Yeah, and
the
it's
crowd.
also just like it's pushing the culture forward because
Yeah.
I haven't really seen a Vietnamese restaurant like Dee,
Yeah.
you know? And like I love to go out. I live in LA. I love to go out, but like and the places that I go to are fun, but the food is so boring and it's so basic and it's shit.
Yeah.
You know, and so I wanted people to really come to a place where they're like, okay, this is a vibe and the food is good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think, you know, regarding the price, like, I think people just need to get comfortable. Like, these are experiences.
Sure.
And so you pay for experiences in other parts of your life, but you won't pay here is like always. And because I always use I always see like, what's funny is I was talking about a few weeks ago when I landed in Paris. I had a greeter through the airport because the immigration, whatever, was so long. And I can't tell you how many people have hit me up, right? For please intro me to that company. Because if you value your time,
yes,
then you should pay for
convenience,
and then you should pay for things that like make your time better
all day.
Yes.
Honestly,
right?
like market economics, if you want to dine in West Hollywood, Beverly Hills, Santa Monica, the rent is X.
Yes.
Insane.
They have to charge.
The staff is X.
The staff is X. They have to charge Y, otherwise that restaurant won't exist.
Yeah. And it's as simple as that.
Yeah. And like, you know, if folks go and look, even go to ddletsgo.com is our website.
Okay.
Go there, look at the menu. The prices, you've got $12 rolls. We've got $20 dishes, $30 dishes, $40 dishes. Yeah. We've got pho for two, which is...
I'll give you the best example of like when you can make the argument in a more crazier case. So you could say traditionally Mexican food in Los Angeles has been pretty inexpensive.
Yeah.
And then Javier's opened. And Javier's is ungodly expensive.
And it's just vibes. It's not for the taste.
It's literally vibes.
It's a vibe.
No one's going there and be like, yo, man, Javier crushes. Like, it's literally for the vibe. It's a beautiful restaurant. They have every tequila brand you can imagine. Yep. It's good drinks. And you're eating like a $60 salad. And it is what it is. It's like, but no one says anything about that.
Nothing.
And so I think, look, we're excited, and obviously as a very I mean literally walk up and down La Cienega, so I'm very much a local. It's exciting to have your restaurant in the neighborhood. How do people get a reservation?
Wow. They can get reservations on Let's Go DD?
DD Let's Go.
Oh, it's ddletsgo.com.
So that's DIDI Let's Go.
So not on Open Table or anything.
No.
Well, it's via 7 Rooms. It's like one of the platforms.
But you have to go
to
the site.
Yeah, and maybe like talk about like, you know, so we knew that there would be an anticipation. I guess like this is a good like background and context on the whole story. You know, we knew that Tue had an audience because our pop-ups, we were doing between like 200 and 500 people per pop-up. Our last pop-up was in November with Chef Roy Choi. About 400 or 500 kids showed up, and that was our biggest one. I was like, that's awesome. Her demand is really growing. And so we expected to be, when we announced our opening date for the restaurant, we get about that. Then Hwood has its audience.
Yeah.
You know, they've got thousands of, people, right?
As soon as they open, people want to go.
Right away. And so we did the announcement last Tuesday and said July 20th is opening and reservations open today. And we're booking 2 weeks in advance. And in the first 4 minutes, we get a message and they're like, we have 400 reservations in 4 minutes. And I was like, are you sure?
That's
like,
insane.
I knew we had like a good demand, but like, that's like really surprising.
That's crazy.
I looked at her, she's like, wow. Yeah. And then like 2 hours later, we get a call. They're like, hey, 2,100 reservations were sold out through August 5th.
That's crazy.
So right now we're not open yet.
So 2,100 reservations, let's say what? $200 an average ticket?
I mean, I didn't do the math on that.
No, because there's 2 tops.
Yeah.
It would, if you averaged out, I bet you it's higher. Because how many 2 tops versus 4 tops and 5 tops are there?
It's a nice mix.
It's a nice mix.
So let's say just be 200.
3.5 times 75 a person, right? So 230 with 230 a reservation.
Plus tips.
Okay.
Plus tips.
So it's $500,000
in the first 2 weeks.
I mean, if that's the real math, amazing.
Ray's counting money. He's like, fuck, it's good.
Just because, we were just so blown away by the response. I mean, we've not had that yet, and to be 7 days a week from 6 to midnight, sold out before we're open.
And then you'll get buyout offers. It all
we're already getting them.
Yeah, I mean, holiday parties.
Yeah, that should be $150 a person.
Yeah.
That's
I
my
love that.
recommendation.
I love
Yeah.
that. And so, so basically reservations
Like
will be
doing New Year's, you could tax people.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
So reservations will stay 2 weeks out.
Okay.
So on July 20th, we're sold out through August 4th. So July 21st, August 5th opens up. July 22nd, August 6th. So
Okay.
every day someone can check in and the whole day of reservations is just going to go. So I think at midnight, the clock strikes midnight, everybody will just log in and get their resis. And for us, it's like, she wants to make sure the food, the quality, like the service, front of house, back of house, everybody's new.
Yeah.
It's a whole
Takes
new
time.
staff. So
Yeah.
it's like just getting into the rhythm. And then I assume that we'll probably open up more per night.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I think we're doing like 150, 170 a day.
a night. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. And lastly, hot sauce was fire.
Thank
Fire.
you.
Even the peanut sauce. I love the peanut
Oh,
sauce.
nice.
So the food, the vegetable spring roll was incredible.
Awesome.
The food was great. Vibe was great. I'm excited for you guys. What's next?
What is next?
Book comes out next summer.
Okay.
Wow.
Cooking book.
Cookbook.
Yeah.
You gotta
Cookbook.
come back
Yeah.
on, promote
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I mean, God, what a brutally slow process. I mean,
Yeah.
by the time it comes out next summer, it'll be about 3 years
Oh,
since
wow.
we signed our deal with Simon & Schuster.
Yeah.
So
Seems like that industry
By the
needs to be
time that
Why
comes
disrupted.
can't you
out-
just make a book?
I mean, it's just
It's
the
distribution.
just paper.
it's the manufacturing
crazy.
and the
It's
production and the
crazy.
marketing and
Yeah.
the sales and the wholesale side and getting it all. I mean,
Yeah.
we're just like whatever it takes.
Like we can definitely just make a book on our own with our own money, right?
Yeah.
But like to go through a publisher
Yeah, you
and
get
to
the
have them do
distribution,
it, it's
yeah.
just like
you get the
it's-
machine.
Yeah.
The machine's behind us,
Yeah.
and I think last year she did it. We'll do it again this December. We haven't announced
yeah.
it yet. You want to she did take some fans back to Vietnam in December.
Oh,
It's a
wow.
really
Yeah.
cool hosted trip. 2 weeks, start in Saigon and end up in Hanoi.
Wow.
That's
Sick.
pretty fun. And
Yeah.
then a couple products. You talked about the hot sauce.
Yeah.
Tell them about the hot sauce.
So the hot sauce, the Tue Poi, right?
Yep.
So the hot sauce that you had is like a sweet chili sauce. There's a bottle, like a Thai sauce bottle similar to that, and it's called Mae Ploy, and that was like my inspiration behind it. And so I deconstructed it and like made it my own, added my own stuff in it, added my own flavors into it, but still kind of reminiscent of that sauce. And so I call it Tue Ploy, and
Oh,
I made
cool.
it for the team, and they fucking love it. John wants to bottle it, so we're probably gonna bottle that.
That's
Yeah.
I like that.
amazing.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, and then we've got another CPG product coming out in the fall.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. I mean, so it's just like marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
I mean,
need
a
to
lot of the
work.
projects that are hitting right now from now through next year. I mean, this restaurant project's a 2-year project.
Yeah. Yeah.
This started with, we did the pop-ups to get the data to eventually convince John and Brian, we
Yeah.
can do this,
Yeah. That's amazing.
So-
Well, congratulations. We're very
Congratulations.
excited.
Great story, inspiring.
Thank you.
Yeah, very
Thank
inspiring.
you.
I mean, living in the car.
What do you drive now?
I drive a Porsche.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Convertible.
Oh,
Yeah.
Many
convertible
25-year-olds
too.
are driving Porsches, let me tell you.
It's like it was my first ever big girl purchase, but
Yeah.
that was like the one thing where I was like, dang, I used to live in my car.
Yeah.
And it was like a little Honda CRZ, and then now it's a Porsche.
Wow.
So it's very special to me.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I'm sure. Don't live in it.
I don't even think I
Physically, I
can.
don't think you can.
Her business managers will cut off her credit card, bro.
Literally.
We got her set up and protected the right way.
Yeah.
You know what I
Oh my
mean?
god, that's amazing! Congrats. And if people want to follow you, where's the best social media platform?
I'm very active on Instagram, but all across my social medias, it's just TwayDaBae.
Okay,
TwayDaBae.
TwayDaBae.
I like it.
Love it.
All right, thank you, Tue and Ray, for stopping by. That was incredible. And yes, go check out ddletsgo.com. On, what do you got?
I want to start out with a shout out.
Yeah.
Normally do it at the end. So Amanda and Ashley's uncle, Randy, passed away. And, we had his funeral yesterday. An avid group chat listener.
Okay.
And, while we're leaving the funeral, his best friend that ended up being his caretaker was like, I still have your group chat merch that he left me.
Oh wow,
So,
that's amazing. R.I.P.
notes, intellectually curious, always would ask me, what do you think about Bitcoin? What do you think about this?
Yeah,
So it was cool.
that's cool. Sorry for the loss, and hopefully he's listening up,
Exactly.
still up there. All right, guys, let's get into some news. So, we're talking AI basically every episode for the last few months. It's becoming clear to me there's really only one AI company. And it's not OpenAI. It's Microsoft.
Well, Microsoft via OpenAI.
Via OpenAI.
Via their investment. So we obviously have covered this. They invested $10 billion.
Which at the time looked idiotic.
It all was like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Because you're valuing OpenAI's market cap versus what Microsoft can use that for.
Yep. And interesting enough, I think since they've invested, the company's gone up like $1 trillion in market cap.
I mean, Microsoft it's such an incredible story because everyone wrote them to dead 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Or whenever Satya took over.
Yeah.
No one thought Microsoft.
No one was paying attention to it.
No one was paying attention. And they've just, ever since the antitrust lawyers stopped looking at Microsoft and was focused on Facebook and Google, they've systematically made great acquisition after great acquisition and now great investment.
Yeah.
And they've grown faster than any big tech company in the last decade.
And so Microsoft, on the heels of their OpenAI investment, came out yesterday that they're releasing an AI subscription for $30 a month that basically hyper powers your Microsoft Office products.
Yeah, so basically anything in Microsoft Office So
that's Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, Word.
So anything that's going to be generative AI, so basically like make your job really easy.
Yeah.
They're charging $30 a month to have access to it.
Yeah.
And we were kind of doing rough math. So every corporation, like I'm sure your Office bill is expensive. You have to pay for licenses per user.
Yes.
And now do you know what the per license is?
Depends on the suite of products. There's many tiers of it. Like if you want Skype and Teams and this and that, you can keep adding shit and it can get up there.
Right. So $30, we're trying to like figure out like how much incremental revenue does this give them? And I think the market priced it at 200 billion because that's how much in market cap they've increased since this announcement.
And so basically, I mean, it is going to be a insanely popular tool for Word and Excel overnight. Like I can't imagine what making a model would be with Microsoft Excel, given whatever these AI tools are going to release.
Yeah, basically, if you're in finance or accounting, your job became like extremely easy with these new tools because in the old days, you have to actually like figure out the formula. You have to figure out
all those prompts,
the prompts, and it wasn't easy.
Yeah,
and this will solve that.
Yeah, I know everyone's so excited about all the other AI features. I actually think this is going to be the most money-making AI feature.
Yeah,
maybe in the foreseeable near future. Basically, everyone has to sign up for this.
Everyone has to sign up for it, and they're going to have a monopoly on everything OpenAI is creating.
Yeah,
and they're going to be the first ones to get to use it.
Yeah.
So if you look at all these,
because Teams is going to have AI too.
Yeah, Teams will absolutely have AI.
Yeah.
LinkedIn will have AI.
Yeah.
Activision with all their games, they'll have AI.
Yeah.
So the majority of the private AI companies that are getting funded or have been funded, they're really just, not all, but many are OpenAI plugins. They had early access to OpenAI products.
They just sit on top of OpenAI.
Right. And it's basically like, do you consider yourself a tech company if you sit on top of Shopify? I would argue no, you're just a brand selling stuff.
But 10 years ago,
you were.
And that's what we're going through right now.
Right. So you're seeing all these companies that have raised at like 1 billion, 2 billion, and it's just going to happen quicker. Like D2C took 10 years for people to realize these weren't tech companies.
Yeah.
I think this is going to happen overnight.
Yeah, in 6 months.
Yeah, because everyone's like, oh, these are all commodities.
Yeah, I think it's really fascinating, and I'm blown away at how quickly Microsoft is implementing it into their products, and I'm very excited to see how it rolls out into. Look, Google will do it. Google Sheets, even though Microsoft Excel is a very popular used product, a lot of people use Google Sheets too. Google might just give it away for free.
Google probably will give it away for free.
Yeah.
because most of their products are free.
Yeah. The thing is, Excel is such a powerful brand in that universe that there's people that
you
are
have corporate lock-in, right?
Yeah. It's Excel maxis that are just going to always use Excel.
Yeah, definitely. And
it's like PCs. There's certain cohorts of people that still only want PCs.
We've made jokes. A lot of people have made jokes about AI and everyone in tech. It's like the savior, right? They're primarily the companies that are getting funded right now. You have to have some element of AI. But the pace at which this is moving, it's never happened in a sector of technology. Meaning, what was probable 6 months ago to now is like mind blowing.
Yeah.
And it's happening at a pace so quickly that it's going to stop becoming a punchline. And everyone's just going to accept it.
Yeah. I think we just have to see more real life use cases than, writing a song on ChatGPT.
Yeah. I mean, I saw someone, it's called AI Showrunner and I saw it on Twitter, create an entire South Park episode.
Wow. Timely, given the writer's strike.
Yeah. That's actually funny.
All right. I want to move on. We have a lot of news to catch. So earnings season's upon us. The big one that just came out, Tesla books record revenue. Sales rose 46%. Over year. It did 24.9 billion. But they did take a margin hit because they did drop all their prices. But they still remain profitable with nearly $2.7 billion of profit. Their operating margin was the issue because they did, all the price cuts have now cost them. But it feels like they've just put a complete squeeze on the EV market. And all the kind of car people I follow on social media have said there's like a glut in EVs in a lot of these other brands, because now you could get a Tesla for 29 grand.
Yeah.
It's getting to the price where like average people can now afford the car.
Yeah.
And so it's like a death blow to the EV market. Like, I think it's, unless you're like, you can go up and get a Taycan from Porsche, like you're not gonna, if they're the cheapest, of course you're gonna get it.
Yeah, they're the cheapest. You're gonna
coolest.
Would you rather buy a Honda Civic or a Tesla?
Yeah, that's basically where we're heading. It's like those are the comps.
I don't even particularly like the car. I know I'm on the outlier.
Yeah,
but you go down the street, that's all you see.
It's literally like funny. It's
and that white Tesla. Everyone likes the white Tesla.
White. It's a nice white. It's just that. I don't know, whatever that
it's
metallic
everywhere.
white. Yeah, it is a car. It's so ubiquitous. The brand is everywhere. And it does feel like a brand that can expand beyond the car.
So stock didn't move much.
Yeah.
Despite,
I think it's the operating margin because they know they're doing it to hurt everyone else.
Right.
Right. They know they're in a recession and specifically in the car world, we're in a recession. So they went and place their bet that price cuts will create more loyalty. The other thing is they have lock-in because they're selling subscriptions on the autonomous driving.
Yeah.
They're very different. They have different business models where they can keep hitting you. They're the charger network of choice now. Basically, every major manufacturer is now partnered with their charger network. I mean, kind of won. It's over. As far as I'm concerned,
they'll definitely be the leader.
Yeah,
no one's going to.
I think everyone will have an EV.
Yeah,
but it's just he's going to be the leader.
Yeah,
but I think he's the operating system of the EV market, which is very different. I think you have to coexist with Tesla.
And he'll end up being the battery provider.
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah, he's literally like an Apple, where like Apple is the operating system, basically our life.
Yep.
Tesla, doing that for this world.
Yeah, if you want to build an app, you need to be in the App Store. You're going to need to use their batteries.
Exactly. And
eventually.
That's what I think. That's how I think he's truly cornering it.
Yeah.
Other big news: Netflix.
Okay.
Netflix had some good news finally, and their stock is popping, and it's because their subscriptions actually rose again. And
I see they're down in after hours.
Said it added 5.9 million customers, and it's a big reason why is the crackdown on password sharing.
So I'm curious why the stock's down 5%.
I mean, we don't know what they're saying in the earnings call.
Yeah.
They may be guiding lower, but it sounds like they signed up a lot of users for their ad-supported tier as well. And I think it's just some of the things they've done. It's not clear to me that like they're seeing the demand that they probably need to get the uptick in the stock, but who knows what they forecasted in the
they're
call.
profitable.
Yeah, they're profitable. They're healthy. So, I mean, it's a pretty big fuck you given that there's a writer strike. It just tells you they can wait longer.
Yeah, they definitely can. It seems
An actor
like.
strike. Yeah, because like, okay, cool. We'll wait. We'll make reality shows.
I mean, there was a tweet from Unusual Whales, which kind of just covers all types of news. And it was last week or 2 weeks ago. I don't think we talked about it when we talked about the strike. It was like a studio executive said, and obviously confidentially,
yeah,
we're waiting for people losing their apartments and homes, and then we'll start negotiating.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't agree. I don't agree. That's what your mentality should be.
That's an insane statement.
But that's very Hollywood.
Yeah.
That's how Hollywood thinks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think most people think like that when they're negotiating. You just don't say it.
Yes.
I think
and leak it.
Yeah, I think that was the most dangerous part. Well, interesting. Earnings season's on here. We're going to see a lot of companies report. You know, everyone's thinking it's going to be a soft landing. I mean, these are two big companies that matter.
Yeah.
And the numbers aren't bad. Like, they're all positive. They're all profitable. They're still growing. Sure, they got like a little operating margin.
There's no ease on demand on anything except for, like, I mean, just industries that are affected, commercial real estate, regional banks. Outside that, no one's really getting hit.
Well, I'll tell you who's not getting hit is Carvana. Carvana is the hottest company on earth.
Yeah, the stock went from $350 a share to $4 to back to like 25 like a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
And it's over doubled.
It's like at $50 now.
It's basically like the hedge fund darling. So a number of hedge funds I bet you have blown up, or traders on this trade, because you start buying in the hundreds and you get down to $4, your fund probably is done.
Yep.
And then there were hedge funds that went long at like $8, $9 that made a fortune.
The stock's at $58 now.
So the reason why the stock created 99% or whatever the percentage is because they were sitting on like $6.5 billion of debt. They weren't even profitable at the sales level. Yeah. Like their cost of goods they weren't making money on the cars. So everyone priced them to bankruptcy. And it's the one company that I personally know, 3 extremely smart people that went long Carvana the whole way and lowered their cost basis.
It was actually the one company I would say that, and I know so many people that were trading it both ways. Like I met plenty of people that were long, plenty of people who were short. It became an obsession. It's a meme stock. It's equivalent.
It's a hedge fund. It's the sophisticated meme stock.
Yeah. But it's still in that.
And the passion, the people I know that have on this business.
Yeah.
Like they think the game's just getting started.
Yeah.
On the long side.
Yeah. Well, I mean, why not? Look at all the companies that have hit an inflection point. Everything is going nuts right now.
Yeah. So the reason why the stock was going up leading into earnings, because there must have been an information that leaked to like everyone that they were getting close to a deal on their debt. Mm-hmm. So they restructured $1.2 billion of their debt, lowered interest expense because they pushed out the years. And, you know, debt holders don't always come to the table. This CEO and CFO must be really good. Well, because when companies have this kind of upside down, like they go bankrupt.
So, I mean, look, the numbers are not even good. So I'll give you an example. They said Wednesday it sold 76,530 cars between March and June, 35% drop between from the same period last year. Then they reported a quarterly loss of $105 million compared to $400 million from last year. So technically improving, but sales are down. Losses are piling up. Interest rates are high. We know the used car market is in the toilet. Mm-hmm. And somehow the stock is up 10x.
Restructuring debt. That's all they wanted to hear.
Yeah.
And it's just a manipulated stock.
Yeah. That's what it really is.
People also saw how many shorts there were.
Yeah.
And there was a short squeeze.
Yeah.
You don't double in a week and a half unless there's a short squeeze.
None of these businesses are that good.
No.
All right. Let's move on. Really interesting. So there's an article about downtown Chicago farmers talking about office towers.
Not the farmers aren't in downtown.
Yeah.
But the farming industry wants to replace all this vacant real estate office buildings with vertical farming. I don't even know what that means.
You just grow high.
So
instead of growing long, you grow high.
So they basically are pricing these buildings to not ever be filled.
Yeah.
Because farmers aren't paying, the agriculture industry is not paying what Scat and ARPS or like the hedge fund.
Yeah.
I mean, Citadel packed up and left.
Chicago, you're talking.
Chicago,
yes, yeah. I think the interesting.
I think that was a death blow. If Ken Griffin's out, why would you stay in Chicago?
Look, you have to figure out pretty quickly what exactly you want to do with all this space, right? Like, converting to housing is going to be one thing. Alternate use cases will be. I think everything should be on the table. And the main thing, I think, the problem is the dichotomy that the real estate industry is facing, commercial real estate, is most of the office towers are prevalent in predominantly cities run by very liberal mayors that are not going to make it easy on zoning and re-permitting of these spaces. Like, they're just not incentivized to do so. Like, California should just let any developer just, if you have a good idea and you got buy-in from the community, done. You can have it. But right now, for anyone in Los Angeles to build something, it's a fucking nightmare. Like, I'm getting attacked about my hedges. You think imagine converting the building we're in to anything is going to happen?
Yeah, it's not. And one of my close friends who's in commercial real estate was basically saying that from the investment standpoint, like the private equity shops that are in this space and the lenders and the developers, it's worse than 2008 is what he's saying. And
so then people will come to the table. Things will change. They'll have no choice. You have no choice. If it's that bad,
because the same people that it's worse than 2008 were the biggest beneficiaries after 2008 because of zero interest rates.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to see. I think the other interesting thing, you were talking about Citadel. Two former Citadel employees raised like their largest first-time hedge fund ever, $1.85 billion.
They deserve it.
And it was funny. I don't know if this is a meme, if this is real, but someone screenshotted an employee at Citadel, like an analyst, and someone said, "Oh my God, that's the mathematics champion of China." He's like an employee at Citadel.
It has to be a meme.
I mean, I think if you went and looked up all the Citadel employees on LinkedIn,
they're probably not even on LinkedIn. I bet you there's rules that they can't even be on LinkedIn.
Yeah, because you could poach them.
Yeah.
But to be fair, who's going to pay these people?
BlackRock.
Yeah, I guess that's it. Another fund. And I think what's interesting is
because actually one of our childhood friends, he's a genius, went from Citadel to BlackRock. So
maybe they do poach. Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, the interesting thing is when you think about like career trajectory, there's a dream professions that like everyone has. We always talk about like be an athlete, and then we're hearing now you can transition that into like I want to be Aiden Ross or Tue or Charlie D'Amelio or whatever. But man, if you're fucking good at math, you could score a cool Billy, and no one will know who you are.
The problem, it's the same thing, right? There's one Aiden Ross.
Yeah.
There's what's the other guy that got paid the 100 QVC?
Yeah, whatever. QVC, yeah, whatever. Yeah.
And everyone's gonna DM us and tell us we're idiots.
QZ or whatever the fuck his name is. Whatever.
There's only a handful of them. It's the same as like.
Do you know how many kids at Citadel? There's hundreds.
Yeah, but you have to be really smart.
Yeah, but I'm saying is like really smart. To be really smart, you just have to put the work in. Or you think it's innate that...
I don't think I could be a Citadel analyst.
But right now it's a discipline, right? Like 20 years ago, you could have gone down that path, By the way, you start getting dangled that kind of money.
Yeah, you go back and read the books.
Yeah, whatever. Math, whatever. Give me whatever you got. Because like, we know how much these people are making. I know like schmuck hedge fund people that make $5-10 million a year. Schmucks.
Yes, plenty.
Citadel is probably getting 10x.
I don't think on the investing side there's anyone that makes less than $1 million on the investment team, not the operations team. It might be like minimum might be 3 or 4. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's way more.
It might be.
You know, just because the amount of money these guys are making,
especially in the last 3 years.
Yeah. So I think it's funny that like when you think about career trajectory, like, do you think schools should like high schools, junior high, elementary schools should educate these children? Like, hey, you know, they don't want to talk about money like in schools.
Yeah.
But if let's say that's what you're interested in, you care about making money, shouldn't you educate the children? I'm like, you know, if you're so fucking good at math, like this Chinese math champion who probably has a $45 million Hamptons house.
Yeah, and you don't even have to get to Citadel. If you're excellent at math, you can just have a long career in finance and make a fortune.
Yeah. But I'm saying like
and the bar to get into those industries aren't like
not as high.
Not as high.
Yeah. Like, you could be a shitty banker somewhere.
Oh yeah. If you're just willing to put in the work, you could be a banker.
Yeah.
There's nothing like genius.
And you live a great life.
Yeah.
Like you make a lot of money.
For sure.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's just funny that you discover these things only like, imagine there's probably kids, if they knew at like 13 that you could make like Russell Westbrook money for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Because it doesn't just stop.
Ever.
No.
Until
once you get in that flywheel,
yeah,
you just make hundreds of millions, if not billions.
Yeah. And so like, why not?
And it's the best part is no one knows who you are.
No.
Everyone knows who Ken Griffin is.
Yeah.
No one knows who's the CIO.
Yeah. And they only know Ken Griffin because he's public facing. There's plenty of people in finance that are very successful and very wealthy that have never popped their head up.
Definitely.
Plenty. Endless.
There's so many people that you just show up to the Hamptons and you'll be like, I assume they're mostly hedge fund people.
Yeah. It's pretty fascinating. All right, moving on. This is very interesting. I think, you know, I like to, you know, dip our toes into some Hollywood gossip. Prince Harry.
Yep.
Meghan Markle. Trouble in Paradise.
New York
Trouble
Post,
in Paradise.
TMZ, everyone's reporting it.
What are they reporting exactly?
They're basically saying that there's trouble in paradise because, and this is what they're insinuating, the cash burn is too high.
And the money's running out.
The money's running out.
They got cut from their Spotify.
Cut from Spotify. Their spending habits must be through the roof. And they might be separated right now. It's still like, I don't think they're like reporting that. Because New York Post is reporting they're separated. And then...
I thought this guy the number one selling book in the world.
I don't know. Maybe spent it all.
It's easy to spend it all for them because they have to fly private.
Yep.
They you know, probably have crazy security.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the private alone. That's it.
It's the easiest way to go broke.
Yeah.
You have to have an ungodly amount of money to regularly fly private.
Yeah. And if they're hopping around all over the world.
Yeah. If you want to go to LA, London, then to Miami.
Yeah.
You
know, for me particularly, I've never been a fan of them. You know, royal family. Yeah.
I don't.
To be fair, I really like Princess Diana. I was a big fan.
We were so young, though.
I know,
it
but
was
even
just told to us that you have to love her.
Yeah, and even then, after the fact, obviously, she has a very tragic life. But like, I don't know, there was just something about her that, with like grace, it felt like she was someone very, very special. Obviously, the royal family does not have that character anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It almost feels like people just like them on another level, but people are obsessed, right? Like, the good thing is Prince Harry and Meghan Markle can make money forever. It's just, can they make enough money to live their life? They could make millions of dollars for the rest of their life. They're basically like a shitty analyst at Citadel.
Yeah, they definitely can make money. No, that it's just, can they make $50 million a year, or is it 5?
Yeah. Well, 5 would be
They'd
just
be
unthinkable.
Broke. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even if
5 is like an average person making 15 grand a year.
Because to live the way they live, especially Harry, because and they're but too famous.
Yeah.
Like they can't go anywhere.
Yeah, you literally cannot go anywhere.
So if they break up, let's speculate. Who is the billionaire Meghan Markle ends up with?
Wow. Billionaire.
Because Bezos would have been the obvious, but he seems pretty happy.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who.
Everyone make their guesses. I don't know.
Fine, Mark Zuckerberg. He just torpedoes his whole life. Torpedoes his whole life and says, fuck it. Let's try something new.
I have a good guess, but you probably know too many people that know him.
Who?
You could bleep this out.
Who? Oh, I'm okay with that guess. Public. I like that. All right. That's a hot take. I like that. Okay.
And what happens to Harry? Does he go back to London?
Oh, yeah. Tail between his legs, back to the kingdom.
But Kate hates him. Do you think
it
disrupt the home?
The king will take him back. The king is his dad.
Gets him a pad.
Of course. You go, come back. We'll find you a nice little local bae. Local princess.
He was not notorious because it's not bad. He would date regular people outside. He ended up marrying outside of like.
Teach you a lesson. Don't date regular people. Stick with your own. You're an elitist royal family member. Stick with the royal elitist family member. Don't try to be a hero.
Yeah. The allure of the royal family has to have diminished.
I think in England it has. Like, I know if you talk to someone who lives there,
they hate these two.
They hate it. It's just not the case. The fucking cover of New York Post. It doesn't matter.
No, but just the prestige of it is not what it used to be.
I don't know. You saw everyone went to the coronation.
Yeah, the fame is still there.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's like the prestige of the presidency is not there. But if you're the president of the United States, you're still the most powerful person in the world.
Yeah, it's to say I agree. But if like Biden or Trump or any Clinton show up anywhere, they're the star.
That's true.
If Prince Harry showed up at Dee WeHo,
I think he's in Africa on one of the humanitarian issues.
Yeah. I hope he gets a free.
That's a free $5 million trip.
Yeah. Well, humanitarian.
Who's putting the bill?
The humanitarians.
For 747.
Those charities, they're flying everyone private.
Okay.
Don't worry. He's in good hands in humanitarian aid. All right. We have time for winners, losers content. Do you want to quickly run through it?
Sure. You go first. Winner.
My winner is In and Out. They are banning employees in 5 states from wearing masks. They said,
why are they the winner?
Because it's time to ban those masks. And they're saying it because it's because they want their customers to see their smiling associates.
It's not surprising that In and Out would be the first. They also do have they still have the Bible verse at the bottom of the cup.
I don't know. I'm too busy stuffing my face to look at the bottom of the cup.
It's a known religious corporation.
Yeah.
You probably know where their stance is on COVID.
Yeah.
Not shocking is all I'll say.
Yeah, I mean, but who cares, right? Like, why can't they ban it? What's the big deal?
I mean, I guess if you're worried about your health and you're high risk, you have to choose a different job. I'm going to be around French fries all day. I mean, it's the highest
health
paying,
risk. You should not be around French fries.
Highest paying fast food restaurant.
Yeah.
You can make
but if you're a high health risk, do you think you should be around French fries all day?
What if you have a strong discipline?
I don't know. No one who has high health risk has strong discipline.
That's not true. People have like autoimmune diseases.
Okay, that's fair. Those people, do they need a mask at In and Out?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they do.
Maybe they do. But you can go to another state. California has not banned it. So you can work at In and Out California. If you're in a state that In and Out banned for wearing a mask and you're dying to wear a mask, come to California. All right, who's your winner?
My winner is crypto. So now we've talked about it a lot the last couple of weeks, but now you have a lawmaker, a congressperson coming out blasting the SEC, a Democrat, saying, like, focus your energy somewhere else. Leave these guys alone. If they're playing by the rules, like, stop making this a passion project.
Yeah.
And now that you have actual Congress people talking about this, you have a lot of the people on the Republican presidential nominations they're all pro crypto.
Yeah.
And now you have Democrats even saying like, leave these guys alone. Similar to AI, crypto is going to be a big part of the world.
Yeah.
And if you don't let American companies and Americans participate, you're only hurting your own country.
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to the same thing. Like anything where American innovation can benefit Americans financially or from any perspective, as far as I'm concerned, we as a country should stop blocking shit. It's the same thing. Like we're not supporting American, like finally there's some movement on the Shein stuff. And, you know, the loophole on the taxes is an issue. Immigration is an issue.
We're not helping Instagram, but we're letting TikTok.
We're not helping so many American companies. Like trying to block all these acquisitions. It's fucking stupid.
Well, they're losing.
They're losing, but like, it's why? It costs so much money. Imagine if all of these companies can be let loose and they can buy what they want. It is.
Yeah, look what Microsoft did.
Yes.
You let them loose, they became the biggest company in the world.
Yeah. And by the way, you attack them for a decade, you try to cripple them, and then they just were like, fuck it, we won't be consumer facing anymore. And they went complete B2B.
Because Congress doesn't understand what their business is.
No, exactly. And so I think anything that's stifling American growth, like you talked about immigration in the last episode, stifling American growth. We're not protecting American IP all over the world. There's so many instances where we're not helping our own people. Like, it's stupid.
There's 100 U.S. senators. How many would know what Azure is, Microsoft's cloud product?
Yeah.
What would you guess the number is of the 100?
0. 0 people.
I think it's greater than 0, less than 10.
Greater than 0, less than 1. That's my prediction.
Someone might know Microsoft's in the cloud business, but won't know what Azure is.
Yeah. There's no way anyone in the Senate knows what fucking Azure is. 0 fucking people.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I'm not really, I think like, and this goes back to like everything to me from the permitting issues of commercial real estate to the oil industry. Like we have like because of all the shakiness at China, you have a brief moment where you can actually go back as superpower, right? Because everyone, it was a foregone conclusion. China's it. They won. Now there's like a little...
my content's going to be part of what we're stressing right now.
All right. So let's go to loser then. My loser is Hunter Biden. I'm sick of this guy. I'm so sick
We shouldn't care about his crimes or lack thereof. I don't think it's a story other than Republicans using it as a voting issue.
I'll tell you why it is a story. And I'm not even mad that they're going after him. I'm just sick of him. This guy, your dad's been powerful for what, 40 fucking years?
Easy.
Right? And what is he, 40s, mid-40s, late 40s?
Probably, yeah. Knowingly,
you did all this shit?
I don't think he's well. I mean, the behavior is ridiculous.
It's just like, I mean, this guy's an idiot.
I just don't know why. I mean, it gets clicks.
Well,
that's the problem.
It gets clicks, and it's you know why it's easy to take a hold is if this guy got money, and your dad's the president. It's clear. It shows you're buying influence. Whether it happened or not, the line it's a little alchemy. A little alchemy.
I get it, but
yeah,
I agree. I don't want to hear about it anymore.
What they should put his ass in jail. I'm sick of him. He's probably committed so many crimes anyways. He's an idiot.
Questionable decision making.
Questionable? Which part? Where he had the 8-ball on the hooker's ass? That's questionable to you? That he videotaped? Why did you videotape it? He's an idiot on another level.
Sure.
Who's your loser?
My loser's us. So
Why?
We talked about Barbie and we got it all wrong.
It's full woke?
It's full woke.
Oh, no.
So I was right to support Barbie.
Okay.
So the right wing is trying to get a full ban on theater goers to go. So Ben Shapiro's going after Barbie. Charles Kirk, who's obviously way more right than Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, way more right.
And they're all bashing it.
I'm curious to see what the numbers
There's
are.
Congress people that attended the premiere that bashed it.
So that means it's definitely not getting played in China. Definitely not getting played in the Middle East.
Prediction, I think it's going to crush.
I think
because the marketing is the
marketing's
one
really
movie
good.
that other than Top Gun, that in the last few years where you see it everywhere.
The marketing is incredible.
Whoever did that deserves.
It's also like, I mean, it's Barbie. It's one of the most famous IP on earth.
It's on the side of like a Vegas hotel on the Strip. It's all over Century City Mall. Like, I'm sure Times Square is all Barbie.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see. You can go watch your woke movie this weekend.
I'm seeing it Saturday.
Okay. All right. Content. What do you got?
Content. To go on the point of the technology and what we're doing in America, there's a book called Chip Wars. I don't really read books.
Yeah.
Started it. It was sent to me. It's basically talking about how chips like semiconductors is the new oil, and the transition from like World War II, what mattered? It was like actual steel. Who had the tanks? Who had the missiles? Who had the most like actual industrial stuff to win? And then it turned into nuclear weapons, which is the Cold War. Who had the best nuclear weapons? And now it's semiconductors.
Yeah.
And it's a full-blown war between U.S. and China and a race to basically secure that supply.
Yeah.
And I'm in the beginning of the book, but it kind of opens how important semiconductor chips are to our entire global economy. So in a single iPhone, there are 11.8 billion transistors that are so small. They've like, the technology's like totally transformed. So the making of semiconductor chips is more in like total value than every other good that the world makes.
Wow.
And basically saying like, now it's moving even faster. Crypto, AI, chips are just getting, everything's compute now.
Yeah.
So like your ring needs chips. Everything needs chips.
Yeah, of course.
And it's a race, and you have two political powers that aren't getting along right now. And a lot of it relies on Taiwan,
which is probably is
a disputed area.
Yeah.
And then it's so interconnected with different countries like Korea, Japan, countries in Europe. The US is the IP of these chip making.
Yeah.
That how little disruption there needs to be to basically like create the global economy.
Yeah.
We saw it a little bit during COVID with the cars, like you couldn't make anything.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's kind of scary.
It does sound kind of scary. I would say that you just keep buying NVIDIA stock and it seems like you'll be fine.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
I mean,
they have the best technology in the semiconductor industry.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Where do they make their shit?
They're US based, but I'm sure it's everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, that's every country is going to be investing in building these plants.
Yeah. It's the new oil, basically.
Yeah, exactly. My content, I'm not really recommending it, but I finally watched Air last night.
I watched it. Really? I liked it.
I needed Michael Jordan in it. I didn't like that Michael Jordan was not in it.
He gave the blessing to do the movie.
Okay, well, blessing to show your face, dude.
So
I like the story a lot. The story is awesome. The movie was...
So Matt Damon and Ben Affleck made the movie.
I'm familiar.
$150 million they got paid.
For that movie?
What do you think the cost was? $30 million?
$5 million? Because
they don't pay themselves. They're the most expensive part of the movie.
I mean, that movie looks like it was shot in 2 rooms.
Yeah, and they wanted to make it look like the 80s, so it was like,
it was a
like
shitty set. Yeah, shitty
so
clothes.
They're the winners, actually.
Yeah, they won. I mean, but I was expecting something a little bit more. I don't know. I wasn't sitting at the edge of my seat.
I liked it, but yeah, I could see it's not the greatest movie of all time.
Yeah, well, people, I mean, because such an epic story.
Yeah.
I also didn't like how they portrayed Phil Knight. Like he's some fucking idiot. You'd think the guy that built the greatest brand ever is an idiot?
They didn't say he was an idiot.
He made it feel like
They
he
made
was
him
just
feel
like,
like he was out to lunch.
yes. I mean, I just do not believe Phil Knight has been out to lunch.
No, he definitely hasn't. Look at what his performance was.
Yeah, exactly. That's why that character I was not thrilled with.
Yeah, fair.
All right, let's do some shout outs. What do we got here? First shout out is from Kirk, the Grip It and Sip It Classic. That's who he's giving a shout out to. This coming weekend marks the 7th year in a row for the Grip It and Sip It Classic. 32 guys.
Jeez.
54 holes of golf in 2 days. 2 teams, USA and Europe, competing for the trophy. They're having a great time doing it, but they're raising money for charity. Last year, they raised money for the Milanon Golf Club to provide equipment and access to golf to the underprivileged. This year, we're raising money for our local school district, which is Creek Safe. Is that Creek Safe? Yeah. To better equip our schools and staff for emergencies, danger, safety. Awesome. That's amazing. What I want to know is, where is the Grip It and Sip It Classic?
And how good are you guys?
Yeah. Do you have a member tent?
Do you have a member tent? Is there a dress code?
Yes. These are all very interesting
What's the
things.
food
to
and
know.
beverage like?
I like that I like people do this. Like,
Yeah, it's cool.
with your group of friends, you put together something. That's pretty cool. Next, from Jack to Kiefer Godfrey, just launched his first business, a mushroom coffee brand called Mindset. And also his 30th birthday coming up. So happy early birthday to him. Mushrooms are hot.
Mushrooms on fire.
So hopefully mushroom coffee brand, send it over. We'll test it out for you. Then big shout out from David to David. Giving a shout out to himself. He just got laid off. Now he's moving to Africa to work in the family business on consulting and government contracts. So David is in the CIA.
Yeah. Government contracts in Africa aren't the cleanest of businesses.
David, what are you really up to down there?
Yeah. Stay safe, buddy.
Well, big shout out. And then I want to give a big shout out to all the Chatty Cathy Club members. Discord's popping and we're planning a dinner. So if you're not part of the Discord, reach out to us, get you in there. You're traveling the 24th of July. So the week after, the first week of August, we're going to have a dinner in either West Hollywood or Venice. And normally I never pay for anything. My treat, dinner. We'll figure out the location. And it'll just be for Cathy Club members who are in LA, or we'll fly out to LA for that week.
Great.
So look out for the details. All right. That's all we have. Have a great weekend. Stay cool. It's hot everywhere.
Yeah.
Boiling hot.
The world's heated up.
Yeah. World's hot. All right. See you Sunday.
Peace.